Oh, just a second.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the FPL Banger Show. My name is Siva. I'm joined by Sam. Game week 14, Sam. We are recording this 24 hours before game week 14. That's just the level of dedication we have, having missed last week's podcast due to extenuating circumstances, Sam. And to be
Yeah,
honest,
yeah,
Sam, I was quite happy to miss this week as well. After seeing you with yet another green arrow, it feels like yesterday when I was 5 million ahead of you 10 game weeks ago, just laughing at you. I was too embarrassed to post your scores online. And now every week I have the painful ordeal of having to post your rank, being higher than me. You're up to what? Basically 100K. I'm
yeah.
300K, but every passing week, I'm fallen behind. And the worst part is all my transfers are to bring in guys you already have.
Yeah. I had one goal in mind after game week 2. Which I was ranked 5 mil in game week 2. And my only goal was like I can't be that far behind Siva. It's embarrassing as a co-host of this podcast. I gotta make Siva proud. So my only goal was to just catch up to you. And now that I've overtaken you, I don't know what to do anymore. It's like it's one of those philosophy things. Like once you get what you want, and suddenly my life is meaningless. I have no idea what to do anymore, Siva.
So this is the time where you start doing stupid things. Maybe you should bring Haaland back in.
Maybe. He is the ultimate differential right now, I think. And not
Should we
back in,
talk a
but
bit?
bring him in because I've never had Haaland. Hence the drop, but also hence the rise. So
I posted something on Twitter today. I don't know if you saw it, but the highest scoring team this week with 144 points is a team full of players playing in red kits. This is a team. The team is called Rosie's Reds. The entire season, they've only picked players from teams that play in red. Their overall rank is 3.7K in the world.
amazing. Salute to you, man. Because that means he doesn't own like Palmer, Jackson.
Never. No Palmer, no Jackson, no Haaland. And who else who doesn't wear red do you want to own anyway?
I'm looking at it right now. And he's lucky Amorin came because if Ten Hag stayed, his team would tank because he has a few MU players in there. So yeah. But fair play to him.
And it questions why we spend any time watching games, or what is the point of anything in life, right?
Yeah, that's true. What is the point of listening to podcasts for FPL?
Okay, let's not put ourselves out of work. But speaking of people soon to be out of a job, Pep Guardiola so has entered the sort of to me this feels very much like he has lost his aura, right? Because City, previously teams would rock up to Etihad or just rock up facing City and it's just like, we've got to defend, we've got to hold out against these guys, and people have no fear. They don't have so that whole mask has fallen.
Yeah. I think I saw this stat somewhere that said City has considered the most chances or most big chances in the past 5 game weeks or something like that, which is insane. This is City we're talking about. So yeah, I think you're definitely right. Like teams are not scared anymore. They feel like they're fragile. Their defense is full of holes. We can do it. We can go up there and beat this team.
We're at game week 14 and I did not think I'd be sitting here telling you I'm scared to bench Chris Wood this week.
Well, that should apply every week, Siva.
I obviously didn't bench him this week where he got me 9 points. But we had a question here from Robin Doda, who's a good friend of the pod, and it got me thinking, right? Because he asked, would you play Rico Lewis or Morgan Rogers? And this may seem like a fairly minor, trifling sort of issue, but it's kind of crazy that Rico Lewis is one of the most guaranteed starters in this Man City lineup. He plays every week. He plays out of position every week, and he's still a trash asset. Like, he is completely useless in FPL terms. He's not scored more than 6 points all season, and it's usually ones and twos.
Huh. I did not notice that. Yeah, but you're right, Siva. I think, well, as a rule of thumb, this year, start any attacker on top ahead of any defender because all the defenders kind of trash. May get lucky here and there, but generally all of them kind of bad. Definitely start an attacker over any defender, I think.
Except Gabriel, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, but if you got Grabber, you're starting him anyway, right?
And Liverpool defenders,
Mm.
surely.
Yeah, yeah. Arsenal defenders, Liverpool defenders, and then a few exceptions here and there. Like I've been starting Anthony Robinson every week because I realize I can't predict it. I can't predict when he will return, when the clean sheet comes, when he'll get attacking. So I just decided to just start him. But I basically have zero interest in my defense. I don't care what points they get. They matter to me not. Last game week, we didn't do a pot last week, but in game week 13, no, game week 12, my three defenders got me a total of 0 points. Anthony Robinson, Konate, and Lewis combined for a grand total of 0 points. I still ended the week with a green arrow, so yeah, it's fine. Konate transfer was bad though. Basically,
I mean,
took Trent out for
you
0 points total, which is, but you can't predict that, right? You can't predict an injury, so yeah.
yeah, you can't predict Konate getting injured and then Trent recovering immediately and then hauling again. That's bad luck, I'd say. But yeah, I mean, I would agree with you. I would definitely start Morgan Rogers, no matter his own issues. And Morgan Rogers has sort of also fallen off. And I think perhaps coming to the next topic that we did have a question about, and I think this will be a fairly popular question for people making transfers this week, is Mbeumo replacements. And FPL
Hmm.
Blitzkrieg asking best Mbeumo replacements: Bowen, Kudos, Bruno, Odegaard, Mitoma, Gordon, Brandon Johnson, Kulusevski. And this kind of tells you that, I mean, we really just don't know, right? The fact that there are that many options, and I didn't find any of them that preposterous. Like, all seems fairly reasonable. I mean, to me, there's a clear standout, but I'd be interested to hear your thoughts.
Um, in the same price range,
I mean, let's say 78 or 6 to 8, I guess.
Brandon Johnson, who you
Mhm.
already own, but I think he is the standout right now. And it really annoys me, Siva, because I think he may be my transfer in, which then makes our team so similar to each other. It's annoying. But I don't see anyone performing like he does in his price range. And it's more than just being lucky because I'm looking at the XG chart right now, and Brandon Johnson is fifth, according to FB Ref. So 6 goals with 6.6 XG. It's about it's good. It's decent. He's getting chances. I think he's gone on long enough that it's no longer just a purple patch anymore.
I mean, anyone who watches Spurs games will tell you he scores the same goal every single time. Like, you can go on FOTMob and see his shooting chart and his goal chart, and it's just the same tap in every single other week. He's one of only two Prem players to have more than 10 non-pen goals this season in all comps. The other one is Haaland. Of course, having a stat that match Haaland used to be seen as a good thing. So I don't know how much weight this kind of stat holds now. But yeah, he's cheap. He plays. And of course, I think a lot of people may be concerned because Johnson was bench against City. But I think City, they wanted more bodies in midfield. Kind of made
Yeah.
sense. Spurs don't have anybody anyway. I mean, they're starting Timo Werner some weeks. Solanke was out with illness. Kulu didn't start that day. So many problems. As a team, right, Spurs remain inconsistent, poor, bang average at best. But Brennan Johnson, he does well for his price, I think. And what are their fixtures like? I mean, Spurs have Bournemouth away, okay. Chelsea, Southampton,
Pretty.
Liverpool, and a 4 Wolves. I mean, It's hard to gauge, right, with Spurs because the good fixtures are the ones they mess up in, and the tough ones are the ones they seem to do better in. So I had no idea.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a bit hard. I don't think there are that many options in the price range. Safe. I guess Brennan Johnson is the safe option. You got some more spicier picks, I guess, like Karu Mitoma, who has beaten 2 games in a row, but hasn't exactly been that great this entire season. So it's 3 goals and 3 assists so far. But Brighton are coming onto a really nice run of fixtures. So he could be an option. Then you got other guys here and there that I don't know, just feels a bit like risky to me. Bournemouth midfielders, like we had a face Smith Rowe, McNeil, and all these guys, and I feel they come and go, like all these suggestions. So I'm not really comfortable in picking those type of players right now.
Bowen? I mean, West Ham's fixtures look really decent.
But West
Leicester,
Ham are not
Wolves.
decent.
Yeah, I mean, West Ham not a great team either. Um, I think my issue with West Ham is probably just because I assume the manager is getting sacked in the next few weeks, and that just kind of puts me off their players. Um, let's talk a bit about. Okay, I mean, I'll just Odegaard briefly, right? Because Odegaard was mentioned by FPL Blitzkrieg. Obviously, Odegaard had a very good week this week, but my feeling is that you probably. I'm not sure you want double Arsenal attack long term. I don't think.
Wow.
I stand to be proven wrong here, but I don't think we smash teams 5-2 every single week. I feel like that is more to do with West Ham being just West Ham.
But you did smash Nottingham Forest 3-0 last week. Basically, since Odegaard has come back, you guys are clicking again.
Yes, I mean, I think that's not a surprise. I think we spoke about this like before the Forest game, and I think that's what we said that we expect Arsenal to sort of click. But I just don't. I don't know. I have issues with Odegaard like long term. I mean, he got 8 points this week, which is great, but he only got that because Saka gifted him the pen. Most weeks Saka's not going to give him the pen, but because Odegaard's got a baby coming, so he gave him the pen this week. Maybe next, unless Odegaard is going to have more children and more women in the next few weeks, I don't think he's getting. Yeah, so I don't think he's getting more pens from Saka. So
Yeah.
that kind of
I don't
reduces
know.
his.
I think Odegaard is very hard to predict. He's one of those players where if you try to predict based on fixtures, it may not come off right. If you hold him the whole season, though, he tends to do well. Like the last 2 seasons, 8 goals, 11 assists last season with 180 points. Season before, 200 points. But I think that's just it's the way he plays. A lot of the assists, the pass before the assist kind of thing. But he takes over through the entire season. It's just if you're trying to predict based on fixtures, I feel that's where it gets very hard for Odegaard.
To me, Odegaard feels like an inferior FPL terms, not football, but inferior version to Bruno, because Bruno has the pens, has more set pieces, in a way that Odegaard just doesn't have those other outlets.
Yeah.
And since
True.
Bruno was mentioned, I do have Bruno, and I feel, well, you tell me, United fan, right? Because I see a lot of, instead of Bruno, I see a lot of people saying Rashford is the pick based on this new system.
Do you bench Bruno this week?
I mean, why do we gotta bring that up? in my defense, I had to choose between benching Bruno or Isaac or Johnson. So I picked Johnson. Johnson scored more than Bruno. I can't control Isaac's. I mean, yes, he's made of biscuits, but I can't predict that was gonna
Yeah.
happen. So
Fair, I guess.
don't have strong benches. I mean, basically, so
Yeah.
is my
Don't have
lesson.
strong benches. I'm running like on 0, basically.
You've got literal NPCs. You've got what, Burgess, Yamaluk, and I don't even know if the guys have are still in this league, but not it's not
Hey,
hurting you.
Yamaluk at 1 point, okay? Which is better than some of my defenders. But anyway, back to the point. MU players.
Yes.
Unfortunately, we are now about to come on 3 very tough fixtures. Or maybe 2, I don't know, depending on how you see the City game. So if you went in earlier, I think 3 weeks back, right? So that was the point where we were all like, let's get Bruno for 3 weeks. We have done well, 17 to 9 points. So it would have been a good 3 weeks. If you haven't brought him in, this is not the time. We are about to play Arsenal away. Incredibly tough. Forest, again, a tough team, and then City away again. After that, though, I think, yeah, Bruno would be a good pick. Rashford, I'm not 100% convinced, even when the fixtures turn. I need to see more. Perhaps that is because of a bias from the past 3 years, I would say. I don't know if what he does is sustainable. And I think he's very easily dropped because we have so many options fighting for those same spots up top. Right? One game, one bad game, 2 bad games, he's out. And yes, he did well against Everton. Last week, though, against Ipswich, he was not really. I mean, he got a goal, right? But if you watch the entire match, he was not really up to it. He was a lot of MU fans have big complaints that before he started against Everton. Yes, he proved us wrong with his 2 goals, but still, moving forward, I think still a lot to prove for him. Too risky to make a transfer right now.
What do you think about Bruno? Because a lot of people like me have already gone on to Bruno. What do you think about keeping him through this run? Because obviously the plan was to sell. Now, it's not like as if his XG has been great under Amorim, but this is minuscule, teeny tiny sample size, right? But
Yeah.
no shots against Everton, and then obviously one shot of almost negligible XG. He came off early though. He came off on 66. I think he had a knock. Didn't score against Bodo Glimt. Didn't score against Ipswich. So, and he's been moving around, right? He's played some
Yeah.
games for the forward, some for the back. Is it too early
I
to say? And what
I
do you do if
think
you already own him?
yeah, it's really tough. I would say if in your case, you have the bench, right? You can afford to bench him in this next 2 fixtures and wait it out and see how it goes. But if you don't, if he's stopping you from getting someone like Saka or Salah, if for whatever reason you don't own Salah or Palmer or one of the better returning players, then yeah, I would say get rid of him right now. Because you're right, you're 100% right. Like, I think Amarim's still finding his best place in the team. We all expected, it's gonna be spotting era. Bruno is gonna be up top scoring goals, but that's not really been the case. So I think it was the Europa match where he played as the center midfielder with 3 attacking players up top. So it really, I don't know. We don't know, basically. We don't know. We need more games to see. Amorim needs more games to see where his best position will be.
Yeah, I think I'm largely in agreement with you. I have the bench, so I can bench for Arsenal and I can reassess. And if you have a strong bench, I think it's not a priority sell if, like you say, you've got the 3 main guys, right? And I guess kind of have to have Salah, Palmer, Saka almost not even up for debate now, right?
Yeah. Annoyingly, that we're all having the same premiums, basically.
Yeah, we've all sold Haaland, and now we've got these 3 guys.
Yeah.
We spoke a lot about mids. I mean, forwards. Do you, as a Cunha owner, have any doubts over this week? Strand
No.
Larsen. I mean, the funny thing is that a lot of people stole Strand Larsen this week, and then he hauled.
I still maintain that Cunha is the better long-term pick. Yes, you will have weeks like this, where he doesn't return. But despite that, let me check his XG quickly.
Is
Okay.
XG is not going to impress you. I'll tell you that now.
Yeah, it wasn't the best
Because
week for him, but
yeah, because that's what happens when you score bangers every week. I mean,
no, but
yeah,
even
some
on normal weeks, he tends to rack up pretty decent underlying numbers. This was a bad week, granted. It happens, right? He's not gonna be scoring, 2 goals every single week. So take it goes. His fixtures are still too good for at least for the next four. Everton, West Ham, Ipswich, Leicester. After that is when it gets a bit tough. You got United, Spurs, Forest, Newcastle, Arsenal, Chelsea, Arsenal, Villa, Liverpool. So that is quite a tough run. We can reassess again there.
What are you doing, Chris Wood?
I do. Chris Wood. Chris Wood is fixture proof, unbenchable. Stays in the team forever. He only needs one shot. That's all he needs. One shot and it's a pen. Not even in from open play. But that's it. You know. I saw someone on Reddit after the game. He was commenting that the BP system is so
Uh,
broken because Chris Wood just had one shot from a pen and he comes off with maximum bonus points. But sometimes it works out to their advantage because he doesn't lose points from any missed shots or any missed chances and things like that. And you get extra BPS for a game-winning goal. So basically, Forest just 1-0. How many 1-0 games have they had, man? Quite a few.
yeah, I
Yeah.
don't. I will not tolerate Chris Wood slander here. I mean, deserves every single bonus point he gets. It's not our fault if you don't have Chris Wood and you end with DCL. That's kind of a you problem. Um, okay,
Yeah.
and
The fixtures are not too bad. City, United, Villa, Brentford, Spurs, Everton, all these teams have been conceding goals. So
I mean, let's be real, right? If you gave me that fixture set at the start of the season, I would have said awful fixtures. But now City can't keep a clean sheet for love or money. United still United, right? Still gave a lot of chances against Everton, especially in the first half.
yeah,
Villa,
I think we ended on equal XG with Everton. Yeah, it's just one of those good days, I think.
not that far off. I mean, 107 to 0.58. But considering the scoreline's 4-0, that really is way off in
Mm.
terms of outcomes. And then, yeah, Forest play Villa. And Villa, I don't understand, right? I mean, what? They only keep clean sheets when the Champions League theme music is playing, apparently. Because they
Well, it's
can.
the same thing Newcastle faced last year, I think. It's not easy. The traveling, if you don't have the squad for it, it's not easy to do European nights. And I think their league form is starting to show that.
But I find it confusing with Villa because Newcastle were generally quite trash in UCL anyway. Villa have been really good. Like they beat Bayern, they should have beaten Juventus. Like they held them. So they've got more clean sheets in UCL than they have in the Premier League all season, which makes no sense. And I don't understand it. And okay, yeah, maybe it is fatigue, but that seems crazy to me.
Maybe. It's quite a common sidetracking a bit away from FPL. But I remember reading this article sometime back in the Athletic that for smaller teams who don't have the squad, before the Conference League, of course, it was better to finish outside of European places, like one spot below, because there's a very consistent drop for smaller teams who qualify for Europe and their league form the following season. Yeah, it's not easy, I would say. Like not only the squad but the preparation, not only the squad depth, but the preparation the existing squad has to go through for European nights, less time on the training ground, more time traveling. If they themselves are not used to it, I think that affects them as well.
Hmm. It's interesting. So, in that case, then do you really need to sell Mbeumo this week? Because
No, I
so,
would say no. I would say
hmm.
no. Um, However, just based on the past few weeks, it does seem like he is tapering off a bit. Wisa are still doing the business though, somewhat. So, but yeah, I yeah, I think it's a tough one. I would say Mbeumo's not a priority transfer out. However, if it's just the only weak link in your team, then yeah. However, but then again, Siva, as we discussed earlier, there are not that many replacements.
This feels like one of those luxury moves that ends up almost immediately biting you back when he
Yeah, yeah.
double-digit hauls against Villa.
Would
But
have been better if he just didn't do anything, kind of thing.
yeah, I sold Mbeumo today morning for Saka, and I'm going to just think that that is I think I can live in peace with that decision.
Yeah,
When
I mean, that's you're moving up in price range. Then it's a different story.
Yeah, but I think any of the other sideways moves that we talked about doesn't feel as super necessary to make this week unless you have to.
Mhm.
Let's
Agreed.
let's now waste some time and talk about defense. It's a complete waste of time. Um, but I have
Yeah.
some questions for you. Okay, right? I mean, Rico Lewis. I mean, I don't even know why I still have this guy. But I just I put him in because I like the color of his kit at this point. Like, I don't think he brings anything else to this team, right? It's just a bit of blue that I like to see. Uh, I cannot believe that I have a starting City defender every week who is this completely inept at FPL. But he's not the only one, right? Because I want to talk to you about Ryan Ait-Nouri, and I've got a bone to pick with you, Sam, because you were selling me this Ait-Nouri hype train. He's Trent, but half the price nonsense for weeks and weeks. And I've seemed to have bought a right back who doesn't attack, can't defend, and concedes every single week at least 2 goals.
Well, we knew he was gonna concede every week. Now the attacking one, things change. I guess tactics change, right? He was really bombing forward prior to everyone bringing him in, and then the coach decided, you know what? Maybe you should start defending. Not that it worked because they're still considering 2 goals every week. But yeah, the fixtures are too good to sell for the next 4 at least, so you might as well just keep him in.
The fixtures don't matter, man. This is the worst team in the whole division. Okay, this guy should have been sacked like 2 months ago. He brings nothing to the table. I mean, they got thoroughly dismantled by the guy who replaced him at Bournemouth. And I'm talking about Gary O'Neill here. And you can just see like these guys, Ryan Ait-Nouri, Mattis Cunha, Jurgen Strand-Larsen. No offense, he's all like continental players, guys who would probably have played under bigger coaches, and they're coming here to play under Gary O'Neill. And I heard an interview this week where Gary O'Neill explained that he makes 20 cups of tea a day and he makes them himself. And
Okay.
if you have that much free time, you cannot be doing your job properly because there's no job in the world that you have
That's
that
true.
much free
That's
time.
true. Can't they
Yeah, so this
afford a tea lady? Why does he need to do it himself?
maybe budget, but this just feels to me like this is a really inefficient way of organizing your day. And if he's spending that much time making tea, then he's probably not thinking enough about tactics. And
Yeah.
I mean, he needs to go. Um,
Okay, Siva. Here, I'm gonna give you some defenders who are not from Arsenal or Liverpool, right? Because I mean those are no-brainers, we all know. Right?
Hit me.
First off, there's Ola Aina who people love. However, he's only had one attacking reason this entire season. One attacking return this entire season. Just one
And,
goal in Game Week 10.
and
Right?
it was a goal that he will never score again in his life. I
Yeah,
might add.
because
In his
the
own words,
good
he took that shot because he was knackered. Okay.
yeah. The good thing is that he does seem to do well with bonus, right? So he has the most bonus among all defenders with 10. The next, Forest defenders, and the next is Murillo, who is at 4. He did go up a lot in price on his 4.9, which is pretty insane to me. So, yeah. I don't know, how much do you value 6 extra bonus points? You pay for Murillo at 4.6, or you get Ola Aina at 4.9. I mean, 10 bonus points is decent, I guess. They don't get a lot because Chris Wood, takes all of it. 3
That's
bonus points every single game with one shot. But yeah. So going back to other defenders, let me see. Oh yeah, he does. Sorry, just on going back to Orlando, he does have the most bonus points among any defender.
insane stat. I mean,
It's pretty
all things
crazy.
considered.
So Forest defenders, right? Aina, Murillo, Milenkovic. So any of these guys are possible. You got United defenders. Oh, they are coming in a bad round of fixtures, so maybe not now, but in 3 weeks time. Very positive about Mazraoui, but he went off early at 55 minutes. No clean sheet, so very sad for owners. Here, I'll give you a name. Aaron Wan-Bissaka,
Whoops.
who has Returned 3 weeks in a row. A goal. A goal this week and a goal last week, Siva. He's scoring bangers. This is Crystal Palace era Wan Bissaka.
No, I'm pretty sure Crystal Palace he wasn't doing this either, mate. So what's happening here?
I have no idea, but he's 4.5. Oh, he went up. He was 4.4, I believe, like a few days back. But they do have a good fixture run. Now, I don't know how good you want to rate West Ham as a team. I'm just throwing names for you, Siva. You can consider them yourselves if you want to.
I mean, I think the easy solution here is just get Joe Gomez, right? I mean, I know you said we're not talking about Liverpool guys, but he's cheap, and I mean, it's never failed, right? Getting a cheap Liverpool center back who,
Yep.
who who may or may not start. It's never
Yeah.
failed.
I went for Konsa. That didn't work out. In the first game I went for Konsa, it didn't work out. Then now I went for Konate, and the first week I got him, it didn't work out. So there seems
So,
to be a pattern there.
so can you please transfer in Gomez so I can do Kwanzaa this week? Because that should.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean,
But yeah,
I think it'll be interesting to see if Gomez starts midweek. If he does, then I'll feel comfortable doing that. But no rush. I mean,
but
it's
how
defenders
long
anyway.
is Konate out? Right? Do we have concrete info on that?
Arne keeps. I mean, today he gave another interview. He said we don't know when he's back. So
Hmm.
you assume long. And the good thing is between now and I mean end of Jan, there's like something stupid like eight or 9 game weeks. So
Hmm.
whoever
Yeah, that's true.
comes in,
That's true.
yeah. I suppose we should give some love to Chelsea, right? Well, we
Oh
didn't
yeah,
speak about
actually.
because I mean this is probably a team that we have a lot of fun at ex Chelsea's expense about Robert Sanchez and stuff, but this is a defense that is starting to
Is
look a
it?
bit more solid. I
Do
mean,
they? Because they've only kept 3 clean sheets the entire season.
I mean,
They kept a clean sheet this week, game week 13, but their last clean sheet was in game week 5. So are they really starting to look solid, Siva?
yeah, but you the man who believes in all these fixtures, right? Chelsea's fixture run is what? Saints, Spurs,
From an
Brentford,
attacking point of
Everton.
view, defenders are
They
a
play
different
at
story.
okay. Let's take them one by one, right? They play Southampton. You would expect a clean. Spurs maybe not.
Uh,
Brentford,
I don't know.
Brentford away from home. Apparently, the G Tech is some sort of voodoo. They can't play outside of it. Everton, led by Dominic Calvert-Lewin, so they don't score goals. Okay, Fulham's a tough one. Ipswich, I mean, these feel clean
Rory,
sheetable fixtures.
Rory Delap, son, Liam Delap
Rory,
is there. Is it so?
who disappointingly doesn't take any throw-ins, and I feel has failed his father completely. But that aside, okay. So I think
Yeah.
Levi
I go
Colwill,
back to my
right?
I go back to my original point, Siva. All defenders are not worth transfers. Just put them all in your forward line, your midfielders, because they have the most yield of points. Transfer to point yield or whatever metric you want to use.
Spoken like someone who did like first year econs or something, but
I didn't do it. But yeah, basically, I don't know. Maybe it's just biasness because it's been working for me. Like this entire season, I've said screw it. Most of my defenders here are people I've not transferred out since like the first game week or second game week. And the only one I did was Trent, and that bit me in the ass. So
yeah.
forget about
Let's.
defender transfer.
So your defense now is Rico Lewis. Okay, sucks. Anthony
Greece.
Robinson. He's okay. Esri Konsa, yeah, I can tell you he sucks. I own him. Greaves doesn't even play. And who's your last defender?
Konate.
Konate. Okay. So you're just gonna let Konate rot on your bench
Maybe,
forever.
I don't know. I- If I can find someone interesting to transfer in, I will do it. Right now, the only weak point in my among my midfielders and forwards is Mbeumo. And the only transfer that I can do from Mbeumo is Brandon Johnson. That's the only one I feel comfortable with. But that would mean, Siva, that our teams were gonna be like 90% alike or some stupid shit.
I mean, that's
I
not
don't
a
like.
metric. You just, I'll make some bad transfers. Don't worry. I've owned Joshua Zirkzee at some points this season. So, although to be fair, maybe I was just so far ahead of the
Too,
curve.
yeah, maybe.
I saw things that Ten Hag couldn't see. Um, But come back to Chelsea, right? Let's sort of wrap up with Nicholas Jackson. Okay, so you got Nicholas
Nicholas
Jackson
Jackson.
last week, and I now am a proud owner of Nicholas Jackson. I made the transfer
Wow,
this morning.
that was
Uh,
fast.
Price rises, so I don't like to miss price rises.
Yeah. I'm very happy that it worked out because I was heavily considering Nico Jackson or João Pedro. And I
Hmm.
think I was actually leaning towards João Pedro. But then I realized one thing. Silva has João Pedro. Therefore, I don't want him in my team. So I brought Nico Jackson instead. A strategy which seems to be working, Silva.
I mean, I think a probably more valid argument for Nicholas Jackson is he's got 18 goal involvements in 21 games, which kind of feels like it has passed me by.
Yeah,
It shows you again how much of a disservice watching games does, because I clearly watched a lot of Chelsea early last season, formed an
yeah.
opinion about Nico Jackson, and have allowed that bias to cloud my judgment ever since.
It's true. It's true. I think sometimes, especially for guys like us who have been playing a long time, we let our biasness form our opinions too long, I guess. When players change, especially young players like Nico Jackson, who, he was getting into good positions last season, just maybe couldn't find the confidence or adaptability to the Premier League, whatever you call it, but he just couldn't finish. This year, though, it's a different story. He's doing well. So
Yeah.
happy. I'm happy Nico Jackson owner.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of like we had a bad first few dates, and then you just sort of okay, I'm never trying this again. But now you sort of
Turns out
open
he
your
was
heart
the
up.
one.
He might have been the one all along, right? I mean, what scores every week? He's on 4 yellows. He's been really disciplined these last few weeks. Could have got another yellow, but no, he's like, I got to play Southampton. I got to get my haul here.
Hmm.
I like that. Okay, so Nico Jackson, we're both in. Let's wrap up. Captaincy, no brainer, right? You go with the guy you captained this week, right?
Yeah, it is on Palmer. It is on Palmer. Yep. Is there any, she's playing against Southampton. One more. You could argue maybe a captaincy for Nico Jackson if you want to be, a bit cheeky. But I think, why would you bet against Palmer? The only person I would consider is Salah, who is just purely insanity. Double-digit haul every single week. It's insane, right? He has more. Let me count it: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 double-digit hauls out of 13 game weeks. More double-digit hauls than single. Not even counting blanks. Okay, it's insane, Siva. It's insane. So perhaps we are overthinking it by going.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
the
It's selfish.
motivation of when you don't give a guy the 3-year contract he wants.
Mm.
Every week he's just going to keep doing this and then showing up to post-match interviews. So happy, my last game against Man City in the Premier League, and I had to score today. Next week's going to be my last game at St James Park for Liverpool. Like he's just poking a bit more. And
Yeah. Because he wants a big move. That's for sure. Doesn't
I
feel like
mean,
he get Liverpool. So maybe he's just showing the world like I still got it. Pay me that big money for a big move because I'm still there. I'm still him. I have to
what do you
say
think
though,
about?
I went against Salah last game week and it worked out for me.
Hmm.
Captain Palmer instead of Salah for a whole extra point, Siva. The risk paid off.
So are you confident going against Salah this week? Because I'm not going to say that Palmer was lucky, but you I mean, it was tight there, right? I mean, at one point you probably were kind of worried, right? That goal came pretty late in the game, and
Yeah, it's true.
it's the kind of
But
goal that's
yeah, I
easy for
think
Cole Palmer to
both.
score. But
That's right. That's right. But I think Palmer just gets so many chances. He had that indirect free kick that happened as well, which could have been another goal. In which case, we have hauled massive 2 goals and 1 assist. So it's very hard, tough. I think Palmer and Salah both has that aura. That even if the game is up to 80 minutes, I still kind of trust them to haul somehow, some way.
fair.
Yeah, perhaps Salah. I think everyone will be captaining Palmer this week, so maybe this is the week I go Salah. Think about it. Oh, another
I
cheeky one is Saka, who I know bad fixture. I mean, a bit worse on paper. However, Saka at home, phenomenal. So
nah,
I know
you're
you
not
don't
gonna
believe
beat.
it. I know, yeah, I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah,
Salah or Palmer then? Let me put it that
May-
way.
yeah, maybe against Ten Hag's United, but no, and I don't think Andre Onana, despite having previous for this, I don't think he's gonna punch Gabriel in the face and give away a penalty.
Famous last words.
Famous last words. So I think that's us for this week, Sam. But in the meantime, anything from you?
Get your green arrows, guys, and we'll see you. I don't know if we have time before the next game week, but we'll try our best, everyone, so that you can hear our lovely voices.